The Zambezi is a river of staggering scale and immense power, a force of nature that has shaped the heart of southern Africa for millennia. Stretching nearly 1,600 miles, the Zambezi carves its way through a tapestry of wild landscapes, from the lush highlands of Zambia, through the rugged gorges of Zimbabwe, and finally to the vast floodplains of Mozambique, where it empties into the Indian Ocean. Along its journey, the river nourishes dense forests, sweeping savannas, and intricate wetlands, creating a mosaic of habitats teeming with life. At dawn, the river's surface shimmers with golden light, while the muddy banks bear the silent imprints of creatures that have passed in the night, hoofprints of antelope, the delicate tracks of birds, and the unmistakable drag marks of something far more ancient. The Zambezi's flow is interrupted by Lake Kahorabassa, a vast shimmering expanse that stretches across the landscape, its waters reflecting the ever-changing sky. Created by a monumental dam in the 1970s, this reservoir has transformed the region, flooding forests and grasslands, and giving rise to new aquatic ecosystems. The dam's concrete walls stand as a stark contrast to the wildness beyond, but beneath the surface, the lake has become a sanctuary for one of Africa's most formidable predators. In the murky depths, Nile crocodiles glide silently, their ancient eyes just breaking the surface, watching and waiting. The river is a place of mystery where objects vanish without a trace, and the water seems to swallow all evidence of what has transpired. The banks are often eerily quiet, disturbed only by the sudden splash of a fish or the distant call of a bird, as the river keeps its secrets hidden beneath the surface. As dusk falls, the river's edge becomes a realm of shadows, where the line between water and land blurs and the unknown reigns. The silence is profound, broken only by the distant rumble of water and the occasional bellow of a hippo as the river's mysteries deepen with the night. The Nile crocodile, a relic of the age of dinosaurs, is the undisputed master of these waters. Its eyes, cold and unblinking, scan the riverbanks for the slightest movement. Here, crocodiles gather in astonishing numbers, basking on sun-warmed mud or drifting in the shallows, their armored bodies blending seamlessly with the landscape. In this kingdom of water and reeds, the crocodile is both hunter and ruler, its presence felt in every ripple and every shadow that moves across the river. The crocodile's hunting strategy is a masterpiece of patience and precision. It waits motionless for hours, sometimes days, before launching a lightning-fast attack. The river's margins are alive with the drama of predator and prey. Antelope, warthogs, and even unwary birds risk everything for a drink, never knowing if danger lurks just beneath the surface. The ecosystem is a delicate balance where every creature's survival depends on the river's rhythms, its floods, its droughts, and the ever-present threat of the crocodile. The crocodile's dominance is unchallenged, its reign marked by the silent disappearances of animals that stray too close to the water's edge. The river's surface may appear calm, but beneath, a world of silent pursuit and sudden violence unfolds, a world where the crocodile's jaws are the final arbiter of fate. Each dawn brings new mysteries, as the river's currents erase all traces of the night's events, leaving only questions in their wake. The Zambezi is a living enigma, its secrets guarded by the crocodiles that have ruled its waters for millions of years. The river's moods shift with the seasons, swelling with the rains, shrinking in the dry months, each change bringing new challenges and opportunities for the wildlife that depend on it. In the dry season, the crocodiles congregate in shrinking pools, their numbers intensifying the competition for food and territory. Their senses are finely tuned to the subtlest vibrations, detecting the approach of prey long before it is visible. The crocodile's patience is legendary. It can wait for days, conserving energy until the perfect moment arrives. The Zambezi's mysteries are written in the silent disappearances, the sudden splashes, and the ever-watchful eyes that break the surface at dusk. Here, in this wild and ancient world, The river keeps its secrets, and the crocodile remains its most enigmatic guardian. The news arrives as a whisper carried by the wind. Another life has been claimed by the river. On the shores of Lake Cahora Bassa, the environment itself seems to mourn, the stillness of the water a stark contrast to the turmoil beneath. The riverbank tells a silent story, crocodile tracks etched in the mud leading to the water where a life was taken. The dense reeds and aquatic vegetation provide perfect cover for these ancient predators, their presence a constant, unseen threat. Water hyacinth floats on the lake's surface, creating a natural camouflage that conceals the lurking danger beneath. The water here is murky, a brown soup about 15 feet deep, making it impossible to see what lies beneath. Crocodiles, masters of stealth, watch from the depths, their eyes barely visible above the water's surface. As the sun dips towards the horizon, long shadows stretch across the water, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Under the moonlight, the lake shimmers, a serene facade that belies the danger lurking beneath. The crocodile scales glisten in the water, a testament to its ancient armored design. With seamless grace, the crocodile slips into the water, becoming one with its environment. Thick fog rolls over the lake at dawn, shrouding the water in a mysterious, almost ethereal atmosphere. The reeds rustle gently in the wind, their movement a soft whisper of the river's secrets. Beneath the surface, the crocodile moves silently through the murky water, a predator navigating its domain with ease. Its eyes, intense and unblinking, watch from the water, ever vigilant, ever ready. Ripples spread across the lake, gentle waves disturbing the surface, a reminder of the life and death struggle that plays out beneath. Basking on the riverbank, the crocodile appears almost peaceful, a powerful predator at rest. Its teeth, sharp and menacing, are a stark reminder of its role as the apex predator of this environment. As dusk falls, the lake returns to a deceptive tranquility, the soft sounds of nature masking the ever-present danger. The water's edge, with its gentle waves, holds the secrets of countless untold stories, each ripple a testament to the river's power. Along the lake, nature thrives in a delicate balance, each scene a chapter in the ongoing story of life and survival. The crocodile's eyes close, a moment of rest in its eternal vigilance, a brief pause in the relentless cycle of life and death. The Zambezi River is a realm of raw, untamed power where survival is a daily battle. Beneath its tranquil surface, a complex ecosystem thrives, each creature playing a vital role in the circle of life. Crocodiles, the apex predators of these waters, are masters of stealth and surprise. With powerful jaws and a vice-like grip, they can drag their prey into the depths in an instant. The riverbank is a bustling hub of activity where birds, mammals, and fish coexist in a delicate balance. Birds dive for fish, while otters skillfully navigate the waters, hunting for their next meal. Hippos, though seemingly docile, are formidable creatures, fiercely protective of their territory. They can charge with astonishing speed, their massive jaws capable of inflicting serious damage. The river itself is a force to be reckoned with, its currents swift and unpredictable. Debris and whirlpools can appear without warning, posing a constant threat to all who inhabit these waters. Crocodiles, ever patient, bask on the riverbanks, conserving energy for their next ambush. Their eyes and nostrils barely break the surface, a silent testament to their predatory prowess. When the moment is right, they strike with lightning speed, their jaws closing with bone-crushing force. The struggle is brief but brutal, the outcome almost always certain. The river returns to its deceptive calm, the cycle of life and death continuing unabated. In this unforgiving environment, every creature must navigate the perils of the Zambezi, where survival is never guaranteed. To truly grasp the crisis unfolding along the Zambezi, we must look beyond the obvious and examine the subtle, silent signs left behind by the river's vanishing life. The riverbanks, once alive with the comings and goings of countless creatures, now bear only the faint imprints of those who dared to approach. Crocodile tracks wind along the mud, their heavy tails dragging behind, while the lighter prints of antelope and birds tell stories of cautious visits and sudden departures. Beneath the surface, the riverbed is eerily exposed. Where once there were clouds of darting fish and bustling crustaceans, now only empty shells and abandoned burrows remain. The silence is broken only by the occasional swirl of silt, stirred by the slow movement of water. The water itself tells a story. Its patterns have changed, no longer disrupted by the splashes of feeding fish or the quick movements of frogs. The surface is undisturbed, save for the occasional drifting leaf or the faint ripple of a crocodile gliding silently below. On the sandbars, the remains of past meals and the ghostly outlines of resting predators hint at a time when the river was a place of abundance. Now the bones are picked clean and the mud is cracked and lifeless, the insect chorus silenced. Even the crocodiles, masters of this domain, move with a restless energy. Their powerful bodies cut through the water, searching for prey that is no longer there. Their eyes, once content to watch the teeming life below, now scan a barren world. The pools and eddies, once alive with frogs, insects, and the hum of dragonflies, are now still. Algae grows unchecked, and spiderwebs remain empty, their builders waiting in vain for a meal. From above, the river's emptiness is stark. Stretches of exposed riverbed and the absence of movement speak volumes. A lone feather caught on a reed is a quiet testament to the life that once flourished here. At dawn, the river used to come alive, with the calls and movements of animals greeting the day. Now the mist rises over a silent world, the only motion provided by the wind in the grass. Even the hidden places, the nests and burrows, are empty. Silt settles over abandoned homes, and the river's smallest inhabitants have vanished, leaving only traces behind. As the sun sets, the river remains quiet. No birds wheel overhead, no fish break the surface. The only evidence of life is the empty shell of a dragonfly, a silent witness to what has been lost. The river's emptiness is not just a lack of animals, it is a profound silence, a void where life once thrived. Each fading track, each ripple in the water is a reminder of a world slipping away, unseen and unheard. In the intricate ecosystem of the Zambezi River, sound travels far and wide, carrying information that shapes the behavior of its most formidable inhabitants. Crocodiles possess acute sensory systems, finely tuned to detect even the subtlest vibrations and low-frequency sounds that move through both air and water. In the darkness, the river becomes a vast acoustic landscape. Every splash, every thud, and every rhythmic beat is amplified, cutting through the ambient noise of insects and distant animal calls. When a repetitive, hollow sound reverberates across the water, it acts as a powerful environmental trigger. The river's acoustics allow these noises to travel great distances, alerting crocodiles to potential opportunities. Over time, crocodiles learn to associate specific auditory cues with the presence of prey. Their intelligence enables them to form connections between certain sounds and the availability of food, a process known as associative learning. The so-called dinner bell effect emerges when these animals begin to interpret recurring noises not as warnings, but as reliable signals that a meal is within reach. The river's unique acoustic properties, its broad open stretches and dense vegetated banks, further enhance the reach and clarity of these signals, making them nearly impossible for a crocodile to ignore. In this environment, the interplay between animal behavior and natural soundscapes creates a feedback loop. Each time a crocodile successfully locates food after hearing a particular sound, the association is reinforced, making the response even more automatic in the future. This phenomenon is not unique to the Zambezi. In controlled environments such as crocodile farms, keepers have observed that the animals react instantaneously to the familiar clang of a feeding bucket or the rumble of a wheelbarrow, sounds that have become synonymous with food. These conditioned responses demonstrate the remarkable capacity of crocodiles to adapt their behavior based on environmental triggers, with sound serving as a potent cue for feeding. The dinner bell effect is a testament to the complex relationship between animal cognition, environmental stimuli, and the unique acoustics of the river, shaping the survival strategies of one of Africa's most ancient predators. To truly grasp the formidable nature of the Nile crocodile, one must delve into the intricate details of its predatory prowess and the ecological mastery it displays within the Zambezi river system. Crocodilus niloticus is not merely a survivor from the age of dinosaurs, it is the apex predator of Africa's rivers, honed by millions of years of evolution to dominate its environment with unmatched efficiency. Adult males can exceed 16 feet in length and approach 2,000 pounds, making them one of the largest reptiles on Earth. Their sheer size is only the beginning of their predatory arsenal. The crocodile's body is a masterpiece of aquatic adaptation. Its streamlined form, webbed feet, and powerful tail allow it to move with stealth and speed, gliding silently beneath the surface to approach prey undetected. The skin is armored with osteoderms, bony plates that provide protection and aid in camouflage, blending seamlessly with the muddy riverbanks and submerged logs. Sensory adaptations are at the heart of the crocodile's hunting success. Their eyes, positioned atop the head, grant panoramic vision above water, while the rest of the body remains hidden. The vertical slit pupils enhance night vision, crucial for nocturnal ambushes. Their sense of smell is acute, capable of detecting the faintest traces of blood or decaying flesh from remarkable distances, even when concealed by dense vegetation or turbid water. Along the jaws, specialized integumentary sensory organs, minute pits, detect minute changes in water pressure and vibrations. This allows crocodiles to sense the movement of fish, birds, or mammals, even in total darkness or murky conditions. Any disturbance on the water's surface, a splash, a ripple, or the faintest vibration, can trigger an immediate and calculated response. The crocodile's brain processes these signals with astonishing speed, priming it for attack. The primary hunting strategy is ambush. Crocodiles select strategic locations, shallow banks, submerged logs, or overhanging branches, where prey is likely to approach for water or to cross the river. Remaining almost entirely submerged, with only eyes, ears, and nostrils exposed, they can wait motionless for hours, conserving energy and avoiding detection. This patience is a hallmark of their predatory style. The crocodile's metabolism is slow, allowing it to endure long periods without food, and to strike only when the odds of success are highest. When prey enters the kill zone, the attack is instantaneous, a sudden eruption of power as the crocodile lunges from the water, jaws agape. The tail, a muscular powerhouse, propels the animal forward with explosive force, enabling it to breach the surface and seize prey with astonishing speed. The bite force of a Nile crocodile is the most powerful in the animal kingdom, exceeding 5,000 pounds per square inch. Its conical teeth interlock perfectly, designed to grip and hold, not to chew. Once the prey is secured, the crocodile often initiates a death roll, a violent spinning maneuver that tears flesh and dismembers the victim, making it easier to swallow or share with other crocodiles. These behaviors are hardwired, the result of evolutionary pressures in a competitive river ecosystem where only the most efficient hunters survive. Even as hatchlings, crocodiles display predatory instincts, biting, snapping, and hunting small aquatic prey from their very first days. As ectotherms, crocodiles rely on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature. Basking in the sun is essential for digestion and energy, but even in apparent stillness, they remain alert to opportunity. Riverbanks become gathering points where multiple crocodiles may bask together, each maintaining a territory and a watchful eye on the water. The apparent lethargy of a basking crocodile is deceptive. Beneath the surface, every sense is primed for action. At the slightest provocation or the hint of prey, a crocodile can transition from stillness to explosive movement in a fraction of a second. In the complex ecology of the Zambezi, the Nile crocodile is both predator and keystone species, shaping the river's food web and maintaining the balance of aquatic life. Its hunting strategies, sensory adaptations, and ecological role make it the ultimate river predator, an apex hunter perfectly attuned to its environment. As the sun rises over the Zambezi, the river is a world unto itself, a living, breathing ecosystem where every creature is both hunter and hunted. The water's surface glimmers deceptively calm, but beneath, a silent struggle for survival unfolds. Crocodiles, apex predators of these waters, move with calculated patience, their eyes and nostrils barely breaking the surface as they scan for the faintest ripple of opportunity. Fish dart in shimmering schools, ever wary of the shadows above and below, while birds circle overhead, ready to snatch the unwary from the shallows. The river's edge is a battleground of instinct and adaptation. Here, crocodiles use the cover of reeds and muddy banks to ambush prey, relying on stillness and camouflage. The current itself is a force to be reckoned with. Swift, unpredictable, and ever-changing, it shapes the strategies of every animal that calls the Zambezi home. Smaller crocodiles linger at the periphery, waiting for scraps, while the dominant giants claim the prime hunting grounds, deep channels and secluded sandbars. The food chain is in constant motion. Tilapia and catfish feed on insects and smaller fish, while herons and storks stalk the shallows and crocodiles lie in wait for any creature that strays too close. The river's banks are marked by the tracks of countless animals, antelope, warthogs, and even the occasional elephant, each one a potential meal for the patient predator. As dusk approaches, the river transforms. The air thickens with humidity, and the chorus of frogs and insects grows louder, masking the subtle movements of the crocodiles as they slip silently through the water. The largest crocodiles, masters of patience, wait for the cover of darkness to make their move, using the fading light to their advantage. From above, the river's labyrinth of channels and islands reveals the complexity of this ecosystem, a network of life and death where every bend hides a new challenge. Sandbars become stages for territorial displays, as crocodiles bask in the sun to regulate their body temperature, always alert for rivals or prey. The river's ever-shifting conditions, rising and falling water levels, sudden storms and swirling eddies, demand constant adaptation from every creature. In this world, survival is a matter of timing, stealth, and an intimate knowledge of the river's moods. The evidence of giants is unmistakable, tracks pressed deep into the mud, silent testimony to the presence of a top predator. Hidden lairs among the reeds provide sanctuary for the largest crocodiles, where they rest and digest, conserving energy for the next hunt. The reeds themselves are alive with movement. Frogs, snakes, and insects all play their part in the intricate web of life. Concealment is key for both predator and prey. Crocodiles blend seamlessly with the muddy banks, their armored bodies nearly invisible in the dappled light. The scent of blood in the water triggers a chain reaction. Fish scatter, birds take flight, and crocodiles converge, each one vying for dominance. Stillness reigns as the river's inhabitants wait, each one attuned to the slightest disturbance, ready to strike or flee in an instant. The relentless African sun tests the endurance of all, driving some creatures to seek shade while others use the heat to their advantage. The river's calm is an illusion. Beneath the surface, the struggle for survival never ceases. Eyes glint just above the waterline. Dozens of crocodiles, each one a master of patience, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As night falls, the river comes alive with movement. Crocodiles stir, their senses sharpened by the darkness, ready to assert their place at the top of the food chain. The scent of prey draws them in, and soon the water teems with powerful bodies, each one maneuvering for position. A frenzy erupts, smaller crocodiles clash and snap, splashing water as they compete for a share, while the largest bide their time, conserving energy for a decisive strike. Out of the chaos, a colossal shadow emerges, silent, deliberate, and utterly dominant. In the Zambezi, only the strongest survive. As dusk settles over the Zambezi, the riverbank becomes a stage for nature's most ruthless actors. The massive crocodile, its scales glistening in the fading light, asserts dominance over the bait site, muscling aside smaller rivals with powerful sweeps of its tail. The air is thick with anticipation as the crocodile drags a large, half-submerged carcass from the water. Scavenger birds, drawn by the scent of decay, circle overhead, their sharp eyes scanning for scraps. Marabou, storks and vultures descend, landing with awkward grace on the muddy bank. The crocodile snaps at them, jaws clapping shut with a sound that echoes across the water, warning them to keep their distance. The remains are grisly, partially devoured, with exposed bone and sinew glistening in the low light. Insects swarm over the flesh, their relentless activity accelerating the process of decomposition. The crocodile's powerful jaws tear through muscle and tendon, crushing bone with ease. The water nearby is stained with blood and viscera, a stark reminder of the river's unforgiving cycle. Smaller crocodiles linger at the water's edge, their eyes glinting with hunger and caution. They wait for the dominant reptile to finish, knowing that only scraps will remain for them. As the crocodile finally retreats, the scavenger birds move in, picking at discarded entrails and scraps of flesh. Their beaks are stained red, feathers ruffled from the frenzied competition. Insects and beetles swarm the remains, maggots writhing in open wounds. The process of decomposition is relentless, breaking down what the larger predators have left behind. The riverbank itself bears witness to the carnage, soil stained dark, tufts of fur and bone fragments scattered across the mud. These are environmental clues, evidence of repeated predation and the constant struggle for survival. Deep impressions in the mud reveal the size and weight of the crocodile, while drag marks trace the path of the carcass from water to land. Among the remains, fish bones and bird feathers hint at the crocodile's varied diet. Sharp teeth, marks embedded in bone, tell the story of a predator perfectly adapted to its environment. As dusk deepens, the river flows quietly past the scene of carnage. Scavengers continue their work, each playing a role in the ecosystem's unending cycle of life and death. The crocodile's unblinking eye reflects the fading light, ancient and indifferent, a silent witness to the grisly realities of survival on the Zambezi. The removal of a single man-eating crocodile brings a temporary reprieve to the village. Yet beneath the surface, the river's story is far more complex, woven with the threads of environmental change and adaptation. The immediate threat may be gone, but the river's pulse continues, shaped by forces far greater than any one animal or event. The act of removing a predator is a response to a symptom, not a cure for the underlying environmental imbalance. It is a bandage on a much deeper wound, one that runs through the very fabric of the ecosystem. The removal of individual animals does not address the profound shifts occurring within the river's environment. Overfishing, deforestation, and the relentless expansion of settlements have altered the river's flow, its banks, and the intricate web of life it supports. As habitats shrink and food sources dwindle, animals are forced to adapt, sometimes in ways that bring them into direct conflict with the changing river landscape. The challenge is not simply the presence of predators, but the shifting balance of the ecosystem itself. The river, once a thriving artery of biodiversity, now struggles under the weight of human-driven change. As populations grow, the demand for water, food and land intensifies, placing unprecedented stress on the river's natural rhythms. The expansion of settlements and agriculture carves away at the wild spaces that once buffered the river, fragmenting habitats and disrupting migration routes. Forests, once guardians of the riverbanks, are felled for fields and fuel, leaving the soil exposed and the water vulnerable to erosion and pollution. Dams and diversions, built to harness the river's power, alter its flow and temperature, affecting the breeding cycles of fish and the feeding patterns of predators. The extraction of resources, timber, minerals, and water, further depletes the river's ability to sustain its native species. In this altered landscape, animals must adapt or perish. Some, like the crocodile, become more opportunistic, seeking new sources of food as their traditional prey vanishes. The Zambezi's story is echoed in rivers and wetlands around the world, where environmental pressures force wildlife to the edge. When the balance tips, competition for resources becomes fierce, and the consequences ripple through every level of the ecosystem. In this struggle, it is often the most vulnerable species that disappear first, leaving gaps that destabilize the entire system. The removal of predators may offer short-term safety, but it also removes vital regulators from the ecosystem, allowing imbalances to grow unchecked. Each lost species weakens the resilience of the river, making it more susceptible to invasive species, disease, and further decline. Crocodiles, apex predators of the Zambezi, are not villains but vital participants in the river's ancient cycle. Their instincts, shaped by millennia of evolution, are finely tuned to the rhythms of flood and drought, feast and famine. Now, as the river changes, these instincts drive them to adapt, sometimes with tragic results for both animal and environment. The disappearance of fish and other prey forces predators to seek alternatives, disrupting the natural order and increasing the risk of conflict. When desperation drives adaptation, the boundaries between species blur and the river's equilibrium is lost. The Zambezi's tale is a warning, a reminder that the health of a river is inseparable from the health of its ecosystem. The future of the river, its wildlife, and its people depends on restoring balance, on understanding that every action reverberates through the environment. Solutions must go beyond immediate responses, addressing the root causes of environmental stress and fostering resilience. Sustainable resource management, habitat restoration, and innovative conservation strategies are essential to support both wildlife and the river's natural cycles. Education and awareness can empower communities to coexist with the river's predators, reducing risk and fostering stewardship. Broader efforts to manage population growth and resource consumption will help ease the pressure on the river and its inhabitants. The Zambezi, ancient and enduring, offers a clear message. The fate of the river and its creatures is bound to the choices we make. When the natural world is pushed beyond its limits, the consequences are profound, echoing through every current, every life, and every future along the river's edge. As the sun sinks below the horizon, the Zambezi River transforms. The day's heat fades, replaced by a hush that settles over the water. In this darkness, the true pulse of the river emerges, alive with the hidden rhythms of nocturnal life. From the tangled reeds, frogs begin their chorus, a tapestry of trills and croaks weaving through the night air. The water's surface ripples with the silent passage of hippos, their eyes and nostrils just breaking the surface as they graze along the banks. In the shadows, the stealthy glide of a crocodile barely disturbs the reflection of the moon, its ancient eyes scanning for movement. Bats swoop low, skimming insects from above the river, while owls perch in overhanging branches, their keen vision cutting through the gloom. Fish, emboldened by the cover of darkness, dart in and out of submerged roots, feeding on drifting insects and plant matter. Tiny fireflies dance above the water, their lights flickering in silent communication. Predators and prey move with caution, guided by senses sharpened for the night. The rustle of a monitor lizard along the muddy shore, the soft splash of a terrapin slipping into the current. Each sound a vital message in the river's nocturnal language. Shadows shift as herons stalk quietly, poised to strike at unsuspecting fish. The air thickens with humidity, carrying the scent of wet earth and blooming night flowers. The river's current slows, its surface occasionally broken by the leap of a catfish or the distant bellow of a hippo. Somewhere downstream, a crocodile's jaws snap shut in the darkness, a reminder that the hunt never truly ends. As the hours pass, the Zambezi's nocturnal community flourishes. Every creature plays its part in this intricate web, each movement and sound a testament to survival. Beneath the stillness, life pulses on, unseen by day but vital to the river's enduring story. With the coming dawn, the night's secrets recede. But for those few hours, the Zambezi belongs to the shadows, where every ripple, every call, and every heartbeat is a tribute to the wild, untamed night. As dawn breaks over the Zambezi, the river's inhabitants begin a silent procession shaped by ancient instincts. Migration is not just a journey, it is a ritual of survival, woven into the fabric of river life. From the smallest fish to the mighty hippos, every creature is compelled by changing seasons, shifting water levels, and the promise of sustenance. Shoals of tigerfish glide upstream, their sleek bodies moving as one, driven by the urge to spawn. They navigate treacherous currents and evade lurking predators, their silvery flashes briefly catching the morning light. Along the banks, herds of impala and buffalo approach the water's edge, their movements dictated by the receding floodwaters. They cross cautiously, knowing that crocodiles lie in wait beneath the surface, patient and nearly invisible. Further along the river, pods of hippos follow ancient paths between feeding grounds, their nightly grazing routes shaped by the rise and fall of the river. Even the tiny reed frogs are swept along, clinging to drifting vegetation as the river carries them to new territories. Each migration is a contest with the elements. Drought can shrink the river, stranding fish in shrinking pools and forcing birds to fly farther in search of food. Floods, meanwhile, scatter animals across the floodplain, reshaping territories and testing the bonds of herds and families. Yet, these journeys are also moments of connection. Egrets ride the backs of buffalo, plucking insects stirred by heavy hooves. Fish and birds form loose alliances, with one's movement flushing prey for the other. Every creature, from the largest to the smallest, is both competitor and companion, bound together by the river's cycles. For the animals of the Zambezi, migration is not merely movement, it is adaptation, resilience, and hope. Season after season, their journeys write new chapters in the river's enduring story, echoing the wild and ceaseless pulse of life that flows from source to delta. As months pass, the Zambezi River transforms in rhythm with the turning of the seasons. Each shift brings a cascade of changes that ripple through the landscape, quietly dictating the fate of every creature that calls the river home. With the arrival of the rains, the Zambezi swells and overflows its banks, flooding vast stretches of grassland. What was once dry savanna is reborn as a watery expanse, a lifeline for countless species. Fish scatter into newly formed pools and channels, seizing the chance to feed and breed in these temporary havens. Waterbirds descend in great numbers, their calls echoing across the floodplains as they hunt for fish and amphibians flushed from hiding. Vegetation, fueled by the abundance of water, surges into growth. Grasses tower and reeds sway in the current, providing cover and food for everything from insects to elephants. The river's floodwaters nourish forests and woodlands, ensuring that fruiting trees and flowering plants sustain a mosaic of herbivores and pollinators. But as the rainy season fades, the river recedes. Floodplains dry and pools shrink, concentrating fish and drawing predators for a final feast. Some animals begin their migrations, while others dig in, adapting to the leaner months ahead. Crocodiles bury themselves in mud or linger in the deepest channels, conserving energy until the waters return. The ebb and flow of the Zambezi is more than a seasonal spectacle. It is the heartbeat of the ecosystem. Each rise and fall sets the stage for survival and renewal, shaping the destinies of all who live along its banks. In this timeless cycle, the river endures, its seasonal pulse sustaining the wild tapestry of life from source to sea. Hidden beneath the shimmering surface of the Zambezi lies a world few ever witness, a realm of constant motion and silent drama. Sunlight filters through the water, illuminating forests of waving aquatic plants anchored to the riverbed. Here, dense mats of vallisneria and swaying reeds provide safe haven for schools of tiny fish, their scales flashing silver as they dart between stems. In this underwater jungle, every inch teems with life. Sharp-eyed tigerfish patrol the channels, their sleek bodies slicing through the current as they hunt for unsuspecting prey. Catfish lurk in the shadows, whiskers brushing the muddy bottom, waiting patiently for a careless insect or crustacean to wander too close. Along the sandy shallows, cichlids defend their nests with fierce determination, fanning their eggs and chasing away intruders. Predator and prey move in delicate balance. A shoal of minnows scatters in an explosion of movement as a young crocodile glides silently past, its eyes just above the waterline, scanning for an easy meal. Snails and freshwater mussels cling to rocks, filtering nutrients from the flow, while dragonfly larvae prowl the submerged stems, miniature hunters in their own right. Even the plants play a vital role, their tangled roots sheltering the young and vulnerable, their leaves oxygenating the water and anchoring the riverbank against erosion. Algae bloom in the quiet shallows, feeding tiny grazers that, in turn, become food for larger fish. Above, the surface ripples with the passage of hippos and the splash of diving birds, but below, the river's true pulse is revealed. Here, life is a constant struggle for survival, every creature adapted to the currents, the floods, and the predators that stalk the depths. It is a hidden world, fiercely alive, where the drama of the Zambezi continues, unseen but unceasing. Above the restless waters of the Zambezi, a different kind of watcher reigns. Birds, both resident and migratory, shape the river's destiny from the sky and shoreline, each species uniquely adapted to the ever-changing currents below. At dawn, the haunting cry of the African fish eagle echoes along the banks. With sharp vision, these regal raptors scan the surface for the glint of a fish. When the moment is right, wings tucked and talons outstretched, they plunge in a splash of power and precision, rising moments later with their catch clenched tight. Along quieter inlets, pied kingfishers hover mid-air, calculating their descent before darting headfirst into the water after their quarry. But the river is not only a hunting ground. Among tangled branches and reed beds, herons and egrets stalk the shallows with patient grace, their long legs barely rippling the surface as they spear unsuspecting frogs or small fish. Weaver birds, in bursts of yellow, flit between stems, weaving intricate nests that sway above the water, safe from many land predators, yet always vulnerable to the river's moods. For some, the river is a nursery. Spoonbills and storks gather in seasonal colonies, their raucous calls filling the air as they tend to hungry chicks. Every nest is a target monitor. Lizards and snakes slither through the reeds, testing defenses, while the alarm calls of lapwings ring out, warning neighbors of danger. Even scavengers play their part. Marabou storks and vultures patrol the banks, cleaning up what the hunters leave behind, helping to keep disease at bay. Smaller birds, sunbirds, bee-eaters and swallows dart above the water, feasting on clouds of insects that hover in the humid air. These avian lives are woven tightly into the Zambezi's fabric. By hunting, nesting and scavenging, birds help balance fish populations, control pests and disperse seeds, silently shaping the river's health and diversity. Their wings cast fleeting shadows on the water's surface, but their influence runs deep, connecting sky and river in a cycle as old as the flow itself. The Zambezi story is not written in steady lines, but in surges and silences, its fate tied to the eternal dance between drought and flood. When rains fail and the river shrinks back from its banks, a parched silence settles over the land. Sandbars widen, channels split and fade, and what was once a roaring current becomes a labyrinth of muddy pools. Fish crowd into shrinking pockets of water, easy prey for opportunists, crocodiles, otters, and storks alike. Hippos cluster in dwindling pools, their skin cracking under the relentless sun, while thirsty antelope risk dangerous crossings for a sip of water. Even the mighty elephants dig into the riverbed, searching for hidden veins of moisture below the sand. Yet, where drought brings hardship, it also sparks ingenuity. Some catfish burrow into the mud, sealing themselves off in a cocoon until the rains return. Frogs lay drought-resistant eggs, waiting for the first drops to awaken their young. Birds shift their hunting grounds, following the river's last breath as it weaves through the dust. Then, almost overnight, the sky splits open and the flood arrives. Torrents of water race down from distant hills, the river swelling with new life. Dry islands vanish, forests are submerged, and the Zambezi spills into its floodplains, transforming the landscape. Fish surge upstream to spawn in the newly flooded grasslands, their eggs scattered across submerged fields. Hippos and crocodiles roam far from the main channel, exploring temporary lakes and hidden backwaters. For some, the flood is a feast, for others, a test. Burrowing creatures emerge, insects hatch in clouds, and birds return to nest in the safety of rising waters. But the force of the flood can also sweep away the unprepared, nests lost, burrows drowned, and the weak left behind. Through every drought and every deluge, the river's inhabitants adapt, endure, and evolve. Their survival is not just a matter of strength, but of timing, memory, and the quiet wisdom of generations lived on the edge of water and dust. The Zambezi's pulse is never constant, but in every rise and fall life finds a way.